You know how Fox had a weird way of counting Simpsons episodes? They're refusing to count a couple of them, making the amount of episodes in concept. The reason for this is a lost episode from season 1. Find the detail about this missing episode is difficult. No one who was working on the show at the time liked to talk about it. From what has happened pieced together, the lost episode was written and edited by Matt Groening. During production of the first season, Matt started to act strangely. He was very quiet, seemed nervous and morbid. Mentioning this to anyone who was present resulted in them getting very angry about begging you to ever mention it to Matt. I first heard of it at an event where David Silverman was speaking. Someone in the crowd asked about the episode, and Silverman simply left the stage, ending the presentation hours early. The episode's production number was 7G06. The title was Dead Bart. The episode labeled 7G06 Mona Lisa was made later and given Dead Bart's production code to hide the latter's access. In addition, to get angry, asking anyone who was on the show about this will cause them to do everything they can do stop you from directing committee with Matt Groening. At fan event, I managed to follow him after he spoke to the crowd and eventually had a chance to talk to him alone as he was leaving the building. He didn't seem upset that I followed him properly, except typical encounter with all business fans. When I mentioned the lost episode, through all color drained from his face and he started trembling. When I asked him for he could tell me any details, he sounded like he was on the verge of tears. He grabbed a piece of paper, wrote something on it and handed it to me. He begged me never to mention the episode again. The piece of paper had website address on it. I would rather not say what it was for reason you see in a second, and entered the address into my browser, and I came to a site that was completely black except for the line of the other text. A download link. I clicked on it and file started downloading. Once the file was downloaded, my computer went crazy. It was the worst file I had ever seen. System restore didn't work. The entire computer had to reboot it. Before doing this, I copied the file onto a CD. I tried to open it on my now empty computer, and as I suspect, there was episode of The Simpsons on it. The episode started off like any other episode, but had very poor quality animation. If you've seen the original animation for some enhanced even, it was similar but less stable. The first act was fairly normal, but the way the characters acted was little off. Homer seemed angry, Marge seemed depressed, Lisa seemed anxious, Bart seemed to have genuine anger and hatred for his parents. The episode was about the Simpsons going on the plane trip. Near the end of the first act, the plane was taken off. Bart was fooling around as you would expect. However, as the plane was about 30 feet off the ground, Bart broke a window on the plane and was sucked out. At the beginning of the series, Matt had an idea that animated style of The Simpsons would represent life and the death turned things more realistic. This was used in this episode. The picture of Bob's corpse was barely recognized. They took few adventures of it not having to move and made an almost photorealistic drawing of his dead body. Act 1 ended with a shot of the boss corpse. When Act 2 started, Homer, Marge and Lisa were sitting at the table crying. The cry went on and on. It got more paint and sounded more realistic. Better actor than you would think possible. The animation started to decay even more as it cried, and you could hear murmuring and deformed shadows. The background of the characters could barely be made out. They were stretching and blurring to look like deformed shadows with random bright colors thrown on them. They were faces looking in the window, flashing in and out, so you were never sure what they looked like. This cry went on for all of the Act 2. Act 3 opened with a title card saying 1 year later had passed. Homer, Marge, and Lisa were skeleton thin and still sitting at the table. There was no sign of Maggie or the pets. They decided to visit Bart's grave. Springfield was completely deserted, and as they walked to the cemetery, the houses became more and more decrepit. They all looked abandoned when they got to the grave. Bart's body was just lying in front of the tombstone, looked just like I did at the end of Act 1. The family started crying again. Infinitely they stopped and just started at Bart's body. The camera zoomed in Homer's face. It caught it to some ways. Homer tells a joke at this part, but isn't audible in the version I saw. You can't tell what Homer's saying. The view zoomed out as the episode came to a close. The tombstone in the background had names of every Simpsons guest star on them, some that no one had heard of in 1989, some that haven't been on the show yet, all the things and had death dates on them for guests who died since, like Michael Jackson and George Harrison. The dates with when they would die. The credits were completely silent and seemed handwritten. The final image was Simpson family on the couch like in the entrance board, all drawn in hyper-realistic, lifeless style of Bart's corpse. All thought awkward to me. After seeing the episode for the first time, you could try to use the tombstone to picture the death of the 11 Simpsons guest stars, but there's something odd about the most of the ones who haven't died yet. All of the deaths are listed on the same date.